Hey everybody, what's going on? GXP. Want to get a quick one in today before I head out. Something's been bothering me quite a bit about YouTube and its um, proliferation of health information and health advice. Now, I do have two channels. There's this one, then I have a channel called Viable Health, and I do have a background in exercise science, diet, and exercise. And I can prove it if you guys need my credentials. It's cool. Um, but I want to kind of bring it up on this channel because this is more of a rant and more of an awareness video. There's just misinformation out there with health, diet, and what to eat and what not to eat. All of my life, I've studied diet and exercise, and I've practiced it, have practiced it all the way up through. I'm 53 years of age. Okay, I've been doing it since I was 10 years old. And what I want to share with you today, and the reason why I'm making this segment, is to clear up a few things and almost add like a cliff notes, a summarization of my experiences and what I've studied over the years, not only applying it to myself, but giving others advice on how to handle diet and exercise. And also, I'd like you to hang out with me to really get a firm understanding on how really easy it can be to be healthy. So please hang around to the end so we can get to know each other and come up with some better solutions than going in and out of the doctors. Let's start with this. When it comes to the information on YouTube, I'm seeing a lot of things about drink coffee, don't drink coffee.
Coffee is one of the most consumed beverages in the world. Some people drink it daily.
Some people drink it 5 times a day.
Today we're going to be talking about all the effects that it has on your body that you would not expect. Most people associate coffee with the sudden urge to go to the bathroom, and that is true for some people. The reality is that coffee affects our GI systems differently, and for some it can actually cause constipation. Coffee can absolutely wreck your ability to sleep. Throughout the day, your body produces more and more adenosine, which actually binds to receptors, generating a sleepy response from your body.
I'll have a large coffee with a double shot of anxiety, please.
You can add all sorts of tasty things to your coffee, like cream, sugar, or any of this. Of course, unless you're drinking decaf, your coffee is also loaded with caffeine. And while caffeine can be useful in waking you up and keeping you stimulated, it can also cause a jittery sensation.
Today, I'm going to talk about some of the other benefits of coffee that go beyond just waking you up in the morning. In other words, I'm going to give you some really important reasons to drink coffee, as well as this one chemical called caffeine. And the benefits of coffee come from both caffeine and these other chemicals. I want to talk about these other benefits other than the one that most people know. Caffeine inhibits a certain compound called adenosine that keeps us awake. It normally helps us go to sleep. It makes us tired. Well, by inhibiting that chemical, caffeine will wake you up. It can give you mental acuity. It can help you focus. It can actually help you actually even learn a little bit better. It also speeds up the rate of metabolism. It also helps your blood sugars. There's some data that shows that it can decrease your risk of getting dementia and decrease certain symptoms related to Parkinson's disease and even Alzheimer's. It has certain properties that can decrease your risk of getting gallstones, and that's because it increases the production of bile and the flow of bile. It also has properties to help prevent a kidney stone.
Eat eggs, don't eat eggs.
I have some bad news. According to the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine on their website, they revealed that eating eggs can be hazardous to your health, okay? And they actually list several scientific studies that prove that eating eggs can be very hazardous. And I just want to tell you some of the conclusions on these studies. This is not good, guys. Eating eggs increases the risk of dying from heart attacks. Oh my gosh. I've been eating all these eggs this whole time and I'm in trouble. 2021 study found that the addition of a half an egg a day was associated with more deaths from heart disease, cancer, in all causes. This is not good. This is scary. Another study, they mentioned eating eggs also can be connected to developing certain types of cancer. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to change all my videos, change my diet. I'm going to talk about why I eat 4 eggs a day and why you should as well. All right, so now let's talk about the benefits of eggs and why you should be eating eggs. Number one, the protein in eggs is superior. And what I'm talking about is the anabolic effect, which means the ability of that egg to help build protein tissues in your body, and the percentage of how much that egg protein is converted into body protein. Eggs, if you compare that to anything else, is basically the best protein for you. All right, next point is choline. Choline is really good for your brain. Choline acts as a bile salt in your liver. It helps break down cholesterol. So it's a good antidote for gallstones. It's a good antidote for a fatty liver. And then we get to lecithin, which is also another antidote for cholesterol, to keep your cholesterol in check.
Eat carnivore, don't eat carnivore. It talks about the big argument out there right now is LDL, cholesterol guidelines, and all of that. It's extremely confusing. All of my contradictions have really always existed. You have one person saying that eating oatmeal is better over eating a steak, those types of things, and it's very confusing. And really, most people's goal is to reach optimal health. I'll tell you. The very first thing you need to do if you're serious about feeling good and living a healthy life is go to a doctor that you trust and get your lab work done. I think it's a full metabolic panel to find out where you are with your LDL, your HDL, and your triglycerides. That is going to be your blueprint. Once you have your blueprint, you can usually go on, there's an electronic chart that you can go on where you can, coffee with cocoa. Uh-oh, I might die. So you'll use your metabolic panel kind of like a blueprint. And then you can go on, there's an electronic chart, you can see what those things mean. So for example, you'll look at your LDLs, your LDL levels, and you'll see like what those levels are, and you can click and see the explanation of what that means. And also with Google out there and AI, it can give you an idea like what those levels mean and where it can go. Once you know that, understand that what I'm telling you is for the healthy adult. If you have liver problems, kidney problems, gallbladder problems, pancreatic issues, you have diabetes, you need to consult with your doctor on those one-offs that you need to do so you can regulate those inefficiencies. But if you're a healthy adult and you're looking for sound advice, get that blueprint. Once you understand what those levels mean, this is step 2. Moderation. I really recommend eating only once a day. That's it. And then maybe in the morning, try to avoid not eating at all, having like an apple cider vinegar, a lemon juice, or a really good, well-sourced coffee, and try to make it to the afternoon and then eat your main meal in the middle of the day. And then at night, maybe before 6 or 7 p.m., get in a salad or maybe some type of low-calorie food where you don't go to bed with a full stomach. And really, it's the OMAD diet, 1 meal a day. So really, moderation is key. Women, I would probably recommend between 1,200 and 1,500 calories a day. But always remember, your activity level is measured with that calorie intake. So if you're a woman who's sedentary and not too active, I'd probably go to 12 to 1,500. Men, I would probably be around 1,800 to 2,500 based on your activity levels. But at the end of the day, I would really keep your calorie counts commensurate with your activity. So for example, I personally never go over 1,500 calories a day. So I try to get at par level or a little bit into a deficit so I can kind of get through my glucose reserves, such as your body will always look to your sugars first that you eat, your dietary sugars, then it's going to go to the liver, and then you start chewing away at the fat. Please don't drink pop or simple sugars. Processed foods, never eat it, and things that have artificial flavors and preservatives, never have those. Now let's talk about, what do you eat? You can eat whatever it is you want as long as you follow those guidelines that I just mentioned in terms of calories. If it's not artificial, if it's not bioengineered, and it doesn't have horrible ingredients in it, everything else you can just eat whatever you want. Eggs, coffee, who cares? Eat it. Because here's the thing where I don't see a lot of emphasis is when we start talking about even alcohol, and I'm not even going to get into that because I personally believe having a good quality wine or whiskey or beer in moderation, of course, is not harmful to you. Remember, this is for the healthy adult at all because it can curtail stress. But what we need to focus on when you're looking at what's good for you in terms of what you should eat, you need to take a look at toxicology, which is essentially how toxic, how much of something should you have. Everything out there you can have too much of. Even good food you can have too much of. Learn the toxicology. So if you're somebody like me personally, I like eggs, beef, chicken. I like having butter. Butter's really good. Sometimes and I know it sounds disgusting, but I'll bite off a top a stick of butter, good quality, good ingredients, whole butter, and to help regulate and keep my blood sugars down, and coffee, tea, and sometimes in the morning a little bit, maybe a bottle or two of beer, or maybe a good shot of whiskey every now and then. And again, the alcohol part is so infrequent. Okay, I'm not talking every single day to medicate yourself from stress and depression. That is not what we should be doing when we're talking about alcohol. But what you need to know is that we have a really bad problem with health guidelines, what is considered good for you and not good for you. And in my humble opinion, I think that ever since 2020, the health industry has lost its credibility. Not only with me, but I'm sure a lot of you out there. 2020 was a disaster, and still up to this very day, as you can see on social media, you can see a lot of coverage out there right now about how things were handled at the point of 2020, 2019, 2020, up till now. So, in summary, this is what I recommend to be healthy and live a really good life. Always consider the blueprint. That's where you start. Then from the blueprint, think to yourself, moderation, 1 meal a day. Then you want to look at toxicology. How toxic is something? You can have too much water and die, for Christ's sakes. I think it was a lady that died of too much water. And then take a look at never, ever having, you just have to do this if you want to live it. Never have pop. Never have things loaded with simple sugars like candy. And things with artificial flavors and colors and things that are bioengineered. Stay away from those things and watch your breads and maybe go to those bakeries that use less ingredients, the better. And you have to take your own health into your own hands. I would really watch those AI generated videos. They're scary. I see a lot of things like, oh, if you drink coffee, it's going to destroy your gastrointestinal tract. Look, my grandpa, oh gosh, all the guy did is, he had a very basic diet. He drank coffee every day, put cocoa powder in it, real good organic cocoa powder, had a couple beers at night, and he lived to be his late 80s, early 90s. It's just interesting that the GI generation, man, look at the GI generation, the ones that fought World War II. They're living a really, really long time. And take a look at the younger generations. They're knocking out in their 30s from colon cancer. We all know what's causing that. So I'll leave you with this. When you go to the doctor, you have to be your own doctor. And you can do that. Follow the steps that I told you to do. Eat what you want. And know one thing, okay? Your body is designed to balance out fats and cholesterols. You're meant to eat it. Okay? And you don't need to get stressed out about conflicting information, because I think people stress out more about what's right and what's wrong, and that's doing more damage itself than the actual food itself. So thanks for hanging out, and we'll talk soon.